Hey guys, welcome. Today we're doing some modifications to my Venator class Star Destroyer. I did this build. This is one of my early videos. I don't even believe there was a lot of details as far as the actual build. It was more just me talking about it. I've had this model up at my display for a few years now. I really love the design of the ship. It's one of my favorite designs. I still really enjoy it. And this, like again, a couple years ago, overall I was pretty happy with the build and the paint, especially for that time frame. It was probably pretty good. But now I feel like I've learned a lot and maybe could reduce some things a little better. Now what I'd like to do is just touch it up. Probably not do much with the repainting, but definitely wanted to redo the inside lighting. This really didn't come out the way I'd hoped. I just really put a bunch of LEDs in there, drilled some holes, and just really wasn't pronounced enough. The engine lighting's still pretty decent. I was able to get it apart, and I just kind of fabricated a little tool off of an old X-Acto blade. I just kind of grounded it down to where it wasn't such a sharp edge. That way it would be less likely to actually cut into the plastic, but I could use it more as a pry tool to kind of go up underneath. Fortunately, I believe when I assembled this, I pre-painted the top and bottom, so when I glued it, it was probably glued onto some painting, and it probably did not get that true weld that you would if you had the plastic on plastic contact. So I was able to pry it open. Unfortunately, I didn't video any of that because I got started and before I knew I was like, maybe I should video this. So I was able to open it up and separate the two halves. Now we can see where I still have all the engine lining. Now I'm pretty happy with that, though I need to light block this because one of the issues is that these are blue lights, and it was getting a lot of backwash into the rest of the model, and these windows were actually coming out blue. So we'll cover that up and with some kind of light block, probably just paint it black or something of that nature. So other than some cleanup, that's probably all we'll do with that. The real work was going to be here. We're going to redo all this lighting. These are all the LEDs. These are just 3mm LEDs. You can tell all the gloops of of hot glue that was on it. And again, I used this tool just kind of pry it up. Still have a few little bits I have to get it, but they're just kind of randomly placed around the ship. Just didn't do a good job lighting. So some of these are probably salvageable, and maybe we can use them for future projects. But what I want to do here is run some strip lighting. First, we're going to do a little bit more light blocking and then put a white gloss coat interior. We'll do that with the top as well to make it nice and bright in there. Then we'll put some strip lighting in here, and we'll add some fiber optics, or possibly even just run fiber optics. I don't know. We're going to change out the power switch. Another problem I think is I ran it off a 9-volt battery. I don't think that's enough to get the bright effect I was going for, and we'll probably upgrade to like a 12-volt system, and maybe do a little touch-ups here and there. Again, paint job looks pretty good. Not too concerned about that. I thought overall detail was pretty good. I mean, I could always have the option of painting it solid gray, like it's seen in episode 3 on the last part. But I think I want to keep it the Republic style. So that's the plan here, and we'll just get started. All right, here's just a quick look. I've got the model mostly taken apart, except for the bridge. I wasn't able to get that apart. I've added in a little bit of detailed painting. Now, as you can see, there's a wash on here. I'm in the process of letting that dry. I did paint this section here and here, and added in some accents with the same color on these fins along the front of the ship, and did that with like a metallic silver color. And of course I removed the where the power plug went, and we'll put that back once we get it going. I've also repainted the engine nozzles in that same metallic metal color. It also has a wash in there. I've sprayed some black paint, kind of light black, because like I said before, we had some light leaks going on in there. And a few other things are painted and drying, so just a little bit of detail work to it and clean up. And we've also on the hard to see right now, let's see if I can lift that up, I also did the trench with that same metallic, kind of a dark gray metallic color. That's also done in that. So just letting that dry, letting the wash dry a little bit, then we'll clean it off, but that should darken up all our panel lines and bring out a little bit more detail. Alright, I've given the wash time to dry. It's pretty well dried on there. I got my old rag, just wet it with a little bit of water, And now I'm just going to start cleaning it off the areas of the ship that I don't want it. I'm just leaving it into the seams. Some places I have to press down a little bit harder to kind of clean it off. Some places I'm more careful because I don't want to take too much off. And so I'm just going to do that on the rest of the ship. All right, now you can see where I've taken the strip lighting and have attached it around my little sprue that I hot glued in. And here's the wiring for it. So it starts, wraps around here, comes back around, then kind of loops around the landing bay. I've cut out a piece of clear plastic. I cut out a doorway and put that in there. See if I can just kind of do some ambient lighting. You can kind of get an idea of what that's going to look like. And that'll be lit. And so now that's attached. We have our engine section all assembled and painted, so that will be sliding in over here. And I'll have to glue this back into position. And then we have a few more parts that I'm still working on. I'm working on the connecting point. We're going to put in a different connecting point there, or a different plug actually. Not the same connecting area, but we'll go with a different plug this time. And it's about ready to be reassembled, and from there we can start working on the exterior detailing a little bit more. All right, so here we are for our finished, I guess, remodeling of the Venator. It's been fun to kind of come back to this model and touch it up. I wish there was more I can do with this. There were just a lot of little issues. I think one of my biggest issues is the drill bit I initially used on the model to cut out all the windows was way too big. The holes are really out of scale. The windows are really out of scale. It's just one of those errors. Really not much I can do to that. Hopefully in the future I can come back and rebuild this from the start. But I did make some improvements. We did some touch-up painting, changed some painting, but mostly the lighting. We added in the strip lighting. Then I went back in with some fiber optic line and filled it in so that the lighting is much more pronounced now. And you don't have that kind of hot spot lighting anymore. You get more detailed. I added quite a few bit more windows. And of course did the fiber optics in all these windows so you don't get the glaring spots like you used to. And the landing bay lights were all new. So all those were cut in, added in the big landing bay door. Add a little bit of detail. Changed out the plug to a different fitting. It's now running off of a 12-volt line system that plugs in. And we repainted the engines, of course, and just to show you all the engine lighting on that. That's probably something else I'd do a little different. It's how I originally did all this lighting. I just cut it out and put like a plastic, clear plastic piece in here, somewhere where we'd hit on. Probably much better ways of doing that. So, but overall, we did a wash to bring out some of the detail and some painting. The trench and some of this bottom detail we repainted. So there we go. Cut out the light here real quick. Get a better look at the lights. And I'm getting some shadows from our shop light here. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. Getting back on track with my next projects, and we'll see you soon.